We're live. It's the Player Rating Show, point blank, accurately named. Let's just get into this.
Let's just get it done.
We are Arsenal. We love Arsenal.
Oh yes,
We are Arsenal.
no mercy.
We're Arsenal. Forever. We are Arsenal.
Road to Wembley.
We love Arsenal.
Oh yes,
We are Arsenal.
can't stop us.
We're Arsenal. Forever. Zoe Adams. Ray Parlour.
If only the mood was like that. Joining me today is Travis. How are you, sir?
Not too bad. How you doing, mate?
Not bad, not bad. Great to have you. I think this is the first time you made an appearance on the channel since it launched. You've been on with us before. I think this is
Yeah.
the first time. So,
This is the first time I've been on this channel since its launch. You're absolutely correct. So glad to be here. Let's do
yeah,
this.
hopefully we'll see more of you. Let's open up with your thoughts from the game yesterday, and I'll give you mine.
Okay. Overall, I know Arteta was decimated by injuries, so I will give him a pass on that. So I'm not going to be as harsh as I would be, but I think tactically he got it completely wrong. Tuchel absolutely destroyed him playing a 3-5-3. They dominated us playing. Basically, they played as a 5-2-3 with their wing backs just overloaded all the areas. And the reason Tierney and Cedric had terrible games is because they had two players to pick up every single time. Tierney
Right.
looked poor, not through no fault of his own. He had to always worry about James or Mount or Havertz or Lukaku. He literally didn't know where to look, and it was embarrassing at times. And what annoyed me about the situation is he didn't make adjustments. He just kept on pushing through. And same thing with the Brentford game. There were no adjustments. So overall, it was a good effort from the young lads. I think it was missing key players, but Arteta got it wrong. What about you?
I can only agree with you there. As soon as I saw the starting lineups and I saw we weren't playing three at the back, I knew what was going to happen. Because it was made for Reece James, who's strong, quick,
Yep.
and it was going to exploit the players like Tierney and Marí, so particularly on that side, and Xhaka. It was just made for them. You look at the times that we've played them before, previously, we've beaten them, yeah, but we've been like for like with the formation.
Yes.
Apart from that one game when we beat them 3-1, they went with four at the back and we stayed with three.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. Now we went back. I don't know why he decided that he needs to go to four. Yeah, I know we had some injuries and players out with COVID and whatnot. But for me, I don't know about you, but you could throw Holding, Marí, Tierney at the back three, Tavares on the left side, then Cedric.
Yeah.
And I think we probably would. I'm not saying that we probably would have won the game or whatever, but we would have been better defensively, especially with the likes of Lukaku, he was the target man, and it worked. You had one more defender in that box would have dealt with him a little bit better. I mean, he bullied Marí, absolutely bullied him.
It was embarrassing. It was like when you've got like a 16-year-old who's playing against 11-year-olds who looks just massive in comparison.
Yeah.
It was a really, really poor performance by Marí as well.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm a Holding fan as well, and he didn't have the best of games either. I mean, I think the thing is, I don't want to be too harsh because I think Arteta just set them up to fail. It's all on the manager for me.
I absolutely agree. I think this is the first time I think Arteta may be in over his head, because it looked like he's run out of ideas, and I'm tired of seeing the same patterns of play in defense and in midfield. We'll go through the player ratings and everything, but ultimately it's down to Arteta. We are so predictable. It's basically they're going to go down the left. They're going to go down the left. We're going to see Xhaka float over to the left. We're going to see Tierney overlap, and it's going to create bundles of space. Just attack that side. Just literally focus on Marí. He's a weakling. Be physical. And Tierney's going to be caught between a rock and a hard place, and he's going to get done. And Tierney was made to look poor through no fault of his own.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I mean, I've seen a lot of people ripping into Tierney, and yeah, it's fair, but it was the whole setup which just set him up to fail. Set them all up to fail. Which brings me on to Bernardo, because I think if it wasn't for him, it would have been a lot worse.
It would have been. This is probably his best game in about a year. I think it needed to be. I don't know if it was against the manager's instructions, but he didn't try and play back from the back as much. He went long. He just thought, you know what, bump this. I'm just going long. And I think for his way of playing, I think it suits him, because the reason he's looked poor at times, his shot stopping has never been in question. His positioning has been awful, and his play from the back has been terrible. So I think this game suited him. So he got a chance to show his shot stopping capabilities, excelled at that. Some phenomenal saves, especially the Lukaku one. That was that onto the bar. That was world class. Yeah. And he went long and direct, and we got some joy from that, because they switched it up, because Chelsea were not expecting that. They were ready for the high press. They were ready to overload on the final third. And they thought, you know what, they're going to try and play from the back. Well, they're trapping. And we've got the most joy, corners and all that lot, just going boom, just knocking it along, running behind it. And we need to do that more often.
Yeah. Mix it up. I mean, listen, you're the goalkeeper. You should know when to play the ball, long or short.
Yes.
Like, listen to the manager. You go, you think. And I think he done really well yesterday. I mean, yeah, he might have questioned for a couple of the goals, not the James goal, but maybe the Lukaku one. But even then, I don't think we should be too harsh on him. What score would you?
I'll give him a 7 out of 10. I think he was arguably one of our strongest performers. So I'll give him a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I think, he, especially when you talk about those long balls, I actually smiled. It was the only time I smiled during the game, is when you saw, do you know what? Fair play, Leno. You made your own mind up, and that's what you want to see. Let's go on to Cedric now.
I thought he had an absolute shocking game. He was really, really poor. I think he was at fault for the first goal, personally. He kept Lukaku on side. It wasn't his fault per se, but he was overloaded because of the tactics we said again, Arteta. But Alonso and Havertz were having so much joy down that side, because they were just 2 against 1. So many times. It was as good as, we'll move on to Sambi and Zako in a minute, but they weren't shielding or helping enough, because they were told to press up high, and then that left acres of space for Cedric to be isolated. So he couldn't. Everyone was like, why didn't he go forward? He couldn't. He was pinned back. But he had a poor game regardless. I'll give him a 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. Yeah, I don't think he was the worst out of the fullbacks, if I'm honest. But I think this positioning at times was very questionable, and I can only echo what you were saying. Let's move on to the other fullback now, Kieran Tierney, and we have spoke about him, and we did say that he was kind of set up to fail in that game. He had flashes of moments, especially going forward. He had a couple of decent. If you're going to give Cedric a 4, I'd probably give a 4 as well for Tierney. But what's your assessment on that?
I think I'll agree with you. I'll give him a 4 out of 10. He might have got a 3, to be honest. He could have been culpable for a lot of Chelsea's positive play, but he was set up to fail. But what I did like about him, his head never went down. He always tried. And I know this is old-fashioned, but I love people who give 100%. And he knew he was at fault for some of the goals. And he kept trying and kept plugging on until he went off injured. And obviously, so that's why I have to give him a 4 out of 10. He probably would have got a 3 otherwise, but he always seemed to want to push and try.
Yeah, no, definitely. I completely agree with you. Rob Holding. I mean,
this is your boy, man. This is your boy.
But obviously, I'll back those stats up in the previous saying he was unbeaten against Chelsea. I'll probably set him up to foul myself.
You did.
But he was out of sorts yesterday, and again, can't really blame the defence. But if you're in there, you got to do a bit better. Holding, Travis.
I would give him a 4. I think he was probably our best defender on the day, in my opinion. He handled Lukaku a lot better than Marí did. But positionally, he was awful. I think he got overwhelmed by the movement of Chelsea, and he looked a bit flat-footed that time. And the biggest thing why he gets a 4 is that chance. I know everyone keeps saying he's not a striker. You've got to score. And I think that could change the game. I'm not saying we would have won. I'm not saying that. But it could have potentially changed the course of the game. Chelsea were comfortable. It's not that we started to play better. They just started to just sit back and decide, you know what, we're going to pick them off on the counter. So, yeah, he should have scored.
Yeah, and you're right. He should have done a lot better. You know, any centre back with a head would score. You got to put a bit of blame. And you know, at the time of the header, that would have you know, revitalised the fans, and we could have been right back in it. So yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I'll give Rob Holding a 4, which will get us on to Marí, who was the worst out of the two. Go on, you can start with Marí.
I think his Arsenal career is over. I'm not trying to be melodramatic or overreact, but I think those last 2 performances were absolutely shocking. His positional play was absolutely atrocious, especially if you've got no pace, you drop off. You drop off if you've got no pace. Why are you trying to press aggressively to someone who's not only stronger than you, who's faster than you, more mobile than you, better in the air than you? Why would you play on the front foot against someone like that? It's just common sense. Like, I never played as a defender, but if I knew my centre backs were slow, you drop off. You give yourself time to read the game, because that's the greatest gift slow defenders have. You can read the game better. And John Terry wasn't the quickest or the strongest, but he read the game better than anyone I know. Same with Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva is 6 foot, but the reason why he's so good is because he reads the game so well. And yesterday, and especially against Brentford, he looked awful. And the biggest testament to how poorly he's playing is they've targeted him. He was the target. They made sure they kept going on his side. Because Lukaku tried with Rob Holding, but Holding's a lot stronger and a lot better at responding to that kind of thing. Marí was falling all over the gap. It was embarrassing. What do you think?
It was the same when he was up against Ivan Toney, players like that against Brentford. We saw it again pre-season. The only reason why he's in there is because Gabriel's not available. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And we all know how Arteta likes to have a left footer and right footer in the centre half pairing. Personally, I would have probably tried out Chambers, Holding, and Tierney. I mean, it could have worked.
Me too. It's free.
But at the end, he didn't really deserve a start. He didn't warrant a start, but he's only starting because we ain't got Gabriel. And like I said, Arteta just wants the left footer on there. It's just that simple. So yeah, Marí, I would probably give a 2. I mean, I could go lower, but it's not all on him. Let's be fair. So
yeah,
you agree on that score, or
well, I'll agree with you. A 2 is fair.
Let's go on to our starting captain, Granit Xhaka.
Atrocious, absolute. I'll give him a 3. You know, he's in the side for his progressive passing, and he got an absolute masterclass on progressive passing from his younger midfield partner. This is how you pass the ball progressively. You find spaces, you find players between the line, you see the runs early, you see the crossfield open balls, and you spray it as quickly as you can. And he didn't bring that to the side, and that's what he's in there for. But the biggest negative I've always had against Xhaka, because I think he's a decent squad player, is his mobility. And the problem is, if you have someone trying to press, a bit like Marí, if you're going to press that aggressively, you can't do it if you're so slow. And they were just bypassing him. It was like he was playing as a holding midfield player, but they bypassed him by just making simple runs because he's just so slow. He made Jorginho look like prime Armoury. He's just too slow. So I have to give him I think 3 might be hot. 4 out of 10 for me. What about you?
Yeah, I have to agree with 4. I also kind of blame him for the second goal. It was a weak challenge that kind of set up that second goal for who played it to Reece James. He went in a little bit stronger there.
Yeah, he would have.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, based on what you said, based on what I saw from the lead up of that goal, I think he was a little bit at blame there as well. So I'm going to go with. It wasn't really bad, but you know, like you said, he got beaten way too easily. So, are you generous with 4? I'm gonna go 3.5 just to be different.
And since he's just a quick side note, since he's been at the club in 2018, no player has been dribbled past more at the club than Xhaka, and he's played in a holding midfielder role. And this is the biggest issue I have. You can't have your deep line midfield player getting dribbled past so easily. So 3.5 is fair, but I'll give him a 4.
Okay, you were feeling generous today. Onto this man. I absolutely love this guy.
Oh.
Absolutely love him. I don't know about you.
Oh, I absolutely love him. I think I'll give him a 7.5 if we give him 7.5. I think he was our standout player. I'll start off with the negatives first. If he's playing a holding role or in a deep two, he has to be positionally better. But again, I don't think that's down to him. He was clearly instructed to help with the press, and he was getting caught out of position far too often. But he's clearly been, because Arteta was telling him all the time, push up, press. And he did the same with Xhaka, and he was getting caught out of position. And his tackling isn't the best yet, but he's still young. But the positives, he is so calm and composed on the ball.
So calm.
Classy. If you want a lesson in progressive passing, El Nini, I'm talking to you, bro. Not side to side backwards. Look forward and make penetrative passing that unlocks teams. Pass between the lines. You have to play the risky pass. If you see an open man 60 yards across the field, ping it over. It creates momentum for the team. It relieves pressure. What a player, what a gem. I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. I would give him 7.5. What about you?
Yeah, I would agree. Like I said, his calmness on the ball. He's not afraid to take players on. He don't care who you are, and he will carry that ball forward. If only we had more players in front of him, in spaces for him to link up with, we would be laughing. With and I've got a big fear with this player. With the way we play and the way we set up, it could ruin him potentially. But what I'm seeing from him right now, I'm very encouraged. I'm really interested to see what happens when Partey comes back into the team. If them two will link up, because I think they would be brilliant together. I don't know about you.
I agree. We said in our group chat, I literally think that Xhaka and Partey are going to start. And I know how Arteta thinks. He loves Xhaka so much. And he's going to probably be dropped to the bench, which I think is super unfair because he's probably been our standout player since pre-season started. Him and Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe's been really good as well. But he's been fantastic. And it'll be so harsh. But I can see it happen. The same thing happened with Pepe. Pepe had 6 good games, then get dropped for 2 months. I think Arteta's going to bottle it and keep Xhaka in the team. But he done himself no disservice yesterday. The effort was there. The attitude was spot on. And he's a real gem. I'm happy with him.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I completely agree with 7.5 is a fair score for the young lad. And speaking of another young lad, Emile Smith Rowe, I think, again, he was our shining light going forward. Finding pockets of space, getting through. Maybe his final touches were a little bit questionable, but the energy that he has, you just can't question it.
Absolutely. For me, again, I'll give him a joint 7.5 because everything positive about our team as a whole comes from Smith Rowe. And I think having Odegaard in the team will release some of the pressure, but it's all down to him. It feels, when it feels like one person's trying to drag a team to the next level offensively. And I feel like he needs more help because we'll go on to the others in a minute, but the others have really, really poor games. And it's down to him. He's literally trying to drag the team. And if effort, you just literally see he bleeds Arsenal. He just wants it so bad. And just the final touch and his finishing at times lets him down a little bit. Otherwise, he would have been man of the match for me. But a fantastic performance again for him. Like, I can't say a wrong word about him. What a guy.
No, yeah, and I absolutely agree. I will go 7.5 as well. I think it's between them two, him and Sandy, for our best performer on the day. Saka, I was quite disappointed with him, if I'm honest. I don't know if he's ready. I don't if he's burnt out already. Not that he should be, because he's not really played like loads of minutes, but he's struggling a bit.
He is struggling a bit, and I think because he didn't have a pre-season. England obviously got to the final. There's been a lot of emotional, like people always think about him. I think his emotional mental state as well must be like on the edge, because that was a lot to go through as a young man. Obviously, his penalty also led to us going out, the abuse, everything else. And it's a lot of emotional baggage. And he just doesn't look fully fit, one. And he just needs to get up to speed. I'm not going to worry about him because I still believe he was our best player last season in all, on average. But he had a really poor game. So I'll give him a 4 out of 10. There's more to come, though. I won't be decided. He's still young. He's still inconsistent. And at any other club, so much pressure wouldn't be on a 20-year-old. But here we are. So a 4 out of 10 may seem harsh, but there's more to come from him. I know he's going to bounce back.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I'm not too concerned with his form at the moment. It's like you covered everything what I was going to say there. You know, that there's stuff off the pitch as well, which is obviously still playing in his mind a bit.
Yeah.
I think once it's a confidence builder thing. You know, it may take a Norwich game to grab a goal and assist to get him back up and running again. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to be, you know, 4 may sound harsh to some people, but it's a fair score. And yeah, it's, you know, he's like you said, he'll come back with a bang, definitely.
Yeah.
Another one disappointed for me was Martinelli.
He was extremely poor for me, and it's over the last 2 games as well. I thought at Brentford he was absolutely abysmal, and
Existent.
I think this could be down to Arteta coaching out that raw ability. It seems like he's caught in 2 minds all the time. He's been obviously told, press high, you are going to be the trigger for the press, you and Smith Rowe, so press aggressively. But he's wasting so much energy just trying to chase down and press like a headless chicken. That offensively seems to have regressed a little bit. Do you remember when his first season he was so raw, so energetic, so fast, and he was getting into the box. He was getting so many goals. But at the moment, he's literally chasing down lost causes. He's out on the wing, then he runs into the centre to allow space for Tierney, but it just doesn't seem to be working. So it might be unpopular opinion, but I think he needs a loan spell. I think this may be a bit too much too soon at the moment. But for a rating, I'll give him a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, do you know what? I don't disagree with that. I think a loan move would be ideal for him. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the Premier League. It's all about match fitness for me. He could go to Portugal or Spain or somewhere like that. Because I don't think it will affect his game. It's fitness and minutes, and he didn't play entirely throughout the Olympics as well.
No, he's on the bench most of the time.
Yeah, and I think that's probably taken it out of him as well. But I agree with you. I think a loan move would be ideal for him. And the 4 is, I probably would go down as 3, to be honest with you.
Oh, wow. Okay.
To be fair, let's move on to Pepe, and then we'll go on to the subs.
Pepe, he had some good moments. But again, I think this is an Arteta problem. And this is for a lot of our players. I feel we need to get the best out of our players. And Arteta right now is not getting the best out of Pepe. Because I think in the right team, in the right setup, he could be world class. All the tools are there. They're there. Like, it's just, you know, when you're just almost at the tip, he just needs the right little tweaks. It's almost like the Armoury moment. I think Armoury realised at one point, there's no comparison here, but hold on. I'm just saying, Armoury realised that if I do the right little things, remember how raw he was when he came to us, and he just twinged the little things, and then his game just went up to another level. Pepe is at the cusp of it. I just think he needs the right coaching. I don't think Arteta's the man to do it, but he was really poor yesterday, so I'll give him a 4 out of 10.
I think he also needs a decent player behind him.
Yes.
Just on that side, I mean, Cedric, Chambers, Bellerin, they're not the right, are they? So that doesn't help him. I mean, we saw him play better on the left-hand side towards in the last season.
Yeah.
And obviously Tierney's down that side, and obviously we all know about Tierney and how class he is. So you've got to question the players behind him. Found with Odegaard, because obviously Odegaard's back with Arsenal now, is that he unlocked Pepe towards the end of last season because he went and covered on the right-hand side. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens when Odegaard comes back into the team. But Pepe, yeah, I'm going to give him a 4. I'll tell you, with no explanation, we'll just go through the subs, gives a score. Tavares, Tierney, 66 minutes.
I give him I like what he brings to the team. He's a bit raw, but I'll give him a 5.
Yeah, I'll give him a 5. Didn't do anything wrong.
No.
I mean, like he had flashes, but you know, at that stage of the game, it's
it was
tough.
over.
Aubameyang coming on the 61st minute for Saka.
I'll give him a 4. He tried, but he didn't really do much.
He was making the right runs. And I think Nigerian pointed out yesterday in the reaction, he was making the right runs, but no one was spotting him.
We've got a man waiting in the camps. He's going to be unlocking him very soon.
Well, let's see. And then Balogun.
Again, a 5, not based on any performance thing, but he didn't have time to really do much. Game was over.
Yeah. A couple of comments here from. I'll probably give Balogun about 4 or 5 as well. Yeah. Chelsea fan. He was on our preview big up, guys. Commiserations. Yes, Lukonga was good, definitely. It just buzzed me the win. Of course, you have every right to be. You outclassed us, outfought us, and everything. Here's Gumza, nothing but zeros all round. And before we finish off, we need to go on to this man. We said how he set us up to fail. Let's see what score you're going to give him, Trav.
I'm giving him a 1 out of 10. I know the only reason he's getting a 1 and not a 0 is because of the injuries. And, this preseason, he's been super unlucky with the COVID injury situation. I'll give him that. But ultimately, even if we had lost yesterday, if I saw the right setup, if I saw the right patterns of play, if I saw the right offensive progressions, if I saw the right team selection, then I would have given him a 6 or a 7. If I felt like he did the right thing, I think he just got it wrong. And the worst thing is, once you do have that bleeding and the losses do happen, do you foresee him having the initiative to make those changes and alterations to get the best and unlock the best out of the team that he does have, regardless of injuries? And absolutely not. I just don't trust him. And the main thing for me, the word I want to end with is trust. So I do not trust Mikel Arteta with this team anymore. 1 out of 10. What about you?
Yeah, I agree with you. We kind of touched base at the start of the show. He set us up to fail. He has to take full responsibility. And yeah, you best be generous with giving him the 1 for all the injuries and the COVID situations that we have, in the club at the moment. So yeah, it's a 1 for me. It was a 1 last week, 1 this week. He needs to change something fast if he wants to stay in his job. If he wants to prove everybody wrong, he has got to do something, and he's got to do something quick. I think we're going to end it at that, Trav.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do it. But yeah, good show. Thanks for having me on.
Absolute pleasure, Trav. We've got to have you back on soon.
Absolutely.
Before we do go, people that are watching, if you could just that's right, comment, like, share, subscribe, all that great stuff. Again, thank you, Travis. Been great to have you on. Hopefully we'll have you on again soon.
Absolutely.
We got Gumza's show tonight, the breakdown. That's going to be interesting. With a special guest, he's got George, and he's got Marvin Bartley, who's the current Livingston assistant player manager, and Sky Sports pundit. So make sure you stay tuned to that 7:30 tonight on the Armoury TV, and then Gunner King's Court's back tomorrow. So that's that, and hopefully we got West Brom next. It can't get any worse, surely.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are Arsenal.
Wembley bound.
We love Arsenal.
Oh yes,
We are Arsenal.
no mercy.
We're Arsenal.